Thanks God, starting with Almighty Allah, the most compassionate and most merciful. So let me thank you once again, my dear students. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Hope you are all doing well along with your daily life's activity. So today I'm going to go for the 7th lecture, that is staff motivations and motivation tips for employees, which is a very concerning and important issue and important topics. That what are those steps that through that you can motivate your employee, that they do their best in their working environment and they achieve collectively very efficiently, effectively the organizational goals in a very short period of time with the less utilization of the resources. I mean that consumption of the resources. So that's we're going to talk about the staff motivation and motivation tips for the employees. Let us just we talk about the tips for motivating the staff or employee in organization. What are those tips? The first thing that we have to be very much careful regarding, that is evaluating yourself. In order to motivate, encourage and control your staff behavior, it is essential, it is important to understand, to encourage and control your own behavior as a manager. Work upon utilizing your strength and opportunity to neutralize and lower the negative impacts of your weakness in organization threats. So the manager should adopt the approach, you're okay, I'm okay. It means that evaluate yourself, you have to behave in a way that makes sure your employees are okay with your activities. So if the employees are okay, you are okay. So you have to go through this approach. Dear employees, you are okay, so I am okay. So you are not okay, so I am not okay. So it means you have to evaluate yourself, see what are your strength and what are the opportunity that makes a better opportunity for the improvement of your organizations. Because you should never let the negative impacts that will definitely destroy and diminish in the effectiveness of your organization. So you have to motivate, you have to encourage, and you have to control your staff behavior. It's very important. Evaluate yourself. What is good for your employee? Do that. What is bad for them? Don't do it. Second step that is very important for the employee, be familiar with yourself. What do you mean by this? Be familiar with yourself. It means the manager should be familiar with his staff. The more and the better he knows his staff, the simpler it is to get them involved in the job, as well as achieving this team and organizational goal. If you don't know your employee, so how you will keep them in a teamwork? It's impossible. So let them familiar, make yourself to be you're more familiar with them, with their wants, their desire, their values, their wants and desire. That would lead to the achieving of the organization goal in a teamwork. So this will also invite staff commitment and loyalty. A cordial superior subordinate relationship is a key factors in a job satisfactions. So be familiar with yourself. It means you should be very familiar with your staff member and organizations. How much you are simpler? If you are familiar with them, definitely it means that you will get them involved in the working process of organization to achieve the organization goal. So that is why the manager should be familiar with his staff. If he doesn't have any connections and he doesn't know the staff member in the organizations, so the motivation will not take place. So if I'm very close to my employee in the organization, it means I'm familiar with them in every moment of their life. I'm aware of what happenings around them in the family as well as in the society. So that is why important tips to motivate your employee for achievement of your organization goal. You have to be familiar with yourself and stuff. And the third one is provide the employee certain benefits. It means give some benefit to the employee. This benefit will definitely motivate them toward achievement of the organizational goal. So give your staff some financial and other benefits. Give bonuses, pay them for overtime, and give them health and family insurance benefits. Make sure they get breaks from work. Let them enjoy vacations and holidays. So what this is, it means you are giving a certain importance and a certain benefits to the employee. So he is being paid for doing overtime. He is being paid on time, and he is being paid and provided some facility of health and family for family insurance, and as well as he is getting always benefit from the weekend holiday and some break time during the working time. So that is why the employee would be motivated. So if you do not give a break, so it means they will work all 24 hours or 8 hours. So it's not fair. The employee will be hesitated. Next time they would not be motivated to work with you in these organizations. So that is what very important for the organizations. The same is the fourth point that we are going to discuss about: provide feedback to the staff constantly. If they are doing the great, so give the feedback. Pat them on back on their shoulder and tell them you are the great. You have done the great job, so you are outstanding. You would be rewarded, you would be complimented, and you would be appreciated. So these things should be, these sort of feedback should be given to the employee. An employee will understand that we are being properly monitored and we are being properly secured in regard to the staff. The staff members are keen to know how they are performing. Try giving a regular and constructive feedback to your staff. This will be more acceptable by the staff. If you are pointing out the right the bad points of your employee and telling them it's wrong, don't do it again, and make it clear, make it okay for the next time. So employee would receive a positive feedback from the organization sectors. So definitely employee would be very happy that my flaws and mistakes are being diminished here in this organization. Everyone is helpful in regard to my bad works, in regard to my negative points which I have. So do not base the feedback on assumption but on facts and personal observation. Do not indulge in favoritisms or comparing the employee with someone else. Sit with your staff on daily or weekly basis and make sure that feedback happens. Have a regular interval relationships meeting with your staff members that can also motivate and give them the feedbacks of their work that can also motivate your employees. So this will help in boosting employee morale and will thus motivate the staff. If you would like to increase the morale of employees, so let them give them feedback on time and have a contacts with them during the needy time. As well as the next point, which is very important, that is acknowledging your staff on their achievements. A pat on the backs یک شاباسایی میتین الفاظ خوب برش استفاده میکنین یک چیزی اضافه تر در اوجا مثلا تحفه و ریوارد و جایزه میتین به این چیزا کارمند شما بسیار خوش میشه بالاخره او در مو جایی که امرای شما کار میکنه او از فامیل کم به اون نظر نمیکنه بالاخره شب روز زحمت میکشه و بالاخره کامیابی اداره میشه. به خاطر ما میگیم که اگر شما میخواین موتیویشن کنین تشویق و اندیزه بدین به کارمندا so you have to acknowledge your staff on their achievements. So staff members at personal level with some form of broad publicity can motivate the staff a lot. Make it a point to mention the staff outstanding achievements in the official newsletter organizational journal. If in the organization some employees are doing their great jobs in the organizations, so publish their biography, publish their news in the journal of the organization or some official newsletters that at least people understand the greatest people in the organization are working in a greatest position. So definitely your members will be very happy from your this sort of works. As well as ensure effective time management is very important. Having control over time, ensure that things are done in the right manner. So it motivates your staff to have close time, few hours when there are no interruption for the staff in performing their job roles, so they can concentrate on the job. Open times when they freely communicate and interacts. So plan one-to-one session of interaction with your staff when they ask their queries, and also get your attention, and thereby they will not feel neglected. This will also work in the long run to motivate the staff. It means ensure the time management while you are engaged with your staff member in the organizations, and you have to be very careful that in regard to the time management, you are careful, organization members are careful, everyone works in the long run to motivate in order to achieve their targets. So another tips for motivating the employee in the organization is having stress management techniques in organizations. So in a stressful situation, so many of your employee might be facing with a stressful situation and they would not be able to manage them. So if you share your techniques and how to control the employees' stress in the organization, definitely it will motivate your employees. So create an environment in which you and your staff can work with an optimum pressure level. It means that ensure an optimistic attitude towards stress in the workplace, having training sessions on stress management, and ensure a follow-up with the group meetings on a manner that stress can be lowered at works. So giving your staff autonomy in work, identify the stress symptoms and imply it and try to deal with them. As a whole, in conclusion, we can say that don't let your staff members who are working in a very tough situation and their stress and depressions are increasing day by day. That will later on affect the productivity of their works in the organizations, and finally the goal will not be achieved. So try to train your staff member that how to control a stressful situations. So this is very much important for the employee work productivity. As well, it will support financially the family member and organization goal will be also achieved. So having a stress management is one of the main things in the organization that almost everybody is facing with it in many places. So another tips for the employee motivation: give the employee learning opportunities. It means that if it is possible, give some learning opportunity for employees to attend some sort of trainings and some sort of educational seminar and workshops, or either if it is possible, let them to go for their high study if they are not graduated university graduates. So employees should constantly learn new skills on the job. It has been well said by someone that with people hoping jobs more often than required in organization, no longer giving job security to employee. So the young blood employees especially realize that continuing learning is the best way to remain employable. So opportunity should be given to the employee to develop their skills, their competencies, and make best use for their skills. So link the staff goals with organizational goals. So this is what another important tips for motivating of your employee, to give the opportunity for your employee to learn more skill, more new things in the organizations, to learn more things as experience from the elder in the working environment. So definitely they would be very much appreciated for their works. So listen effectively. That is another mechanism and a great mechanism for attraction of your employee and giving more importance to them. So listening attentively is a form of recognizing and appreciating the person who is talking. It's a reciprocal and mutual listening develop cordial and healthy personal relation on which the employee and staff development rests. So it's very important to listen to the others in the organization, being as a head of the organization. So if the manager do not listen attentively to the subordinates or to their lower staffs, the morale of the subordinate lowers down and they do not feel like sharing their idea or giving their views. Effective listening by the manager boosts up the employee morals and thus motivate them. But there should be There must be this mechanism in organization that their elders should listen carefully what the lower staff says, because this will increase the morality and a moral development of a person will take place. If not so, definitely many would be facing with many problems. So set an example for your staff. It means that the being as an employer of organization, boss and head of and dean of the organizations, it's very important. You have to be a role model, because other will follow you. If you are the great, so everybody would be respect you and they will learn the great things from you. If you are the bad, so other will definitely go in the wrong directions. So be a role model for your staff. The staff would learn from you what you do and not from what you say, because always they are copying you what you are doing, not what you are saying. So the way you interact with your clients and how do you react later after their interaction is over have an impact upon the staff. So the staff more closely observe your non-verbal communication, gesture and body language. So being unpunctual, wasting the organization capital, mismanaging organization physical equipment, asking the staff do your personal work, etc., all have a negative impacts on the staff. So try setting an example for your own staff that follows you. Another tips for motivation of the employees to ensure effective communications. So communication is one of the important things that plays a positive roles in the enhancement and in making a great relationships among the organizational structures. So in order to motivate your staff, including an effective communication such as avoid using anger depression expressions, utilize questioning techniques to know staff mindsets in analysis rather than ordering the staff what to do. Base your judgment on fact, not on assumptions, and use relaxed and steady tone of voice. Listen effectively and be positive and helpful in your response. Share your views with the staff members. So a better communication will begets a better result in organizations. A mutual respect in the organization will beget a mutual environment for the development and growth of organizational goals. So it's very important that you should need to have a great communications among your staff members in order to set their minds and analyze them rather than ordering them what to do. And another thing that is very important in tips of the employees, so motivation is develop and encourage creativity. So almost give a chance to create something new and be initiative in the organization. Give this opportunity for your employees who are being employed with you and working with you. So definitely they would do something extraordinary in their life, and you would be lucky and happy as well as them. So the staff should be encouraged to develop the creativity skills so as to solve organizational problems, and give them time and resources for developing creativity. Let them hold constant brainstorming sessions and invite ideas and suggestions from the staff. They may turn out to be very productive in some sort of a work. So let them share with your views and suggestions that how they could be productive within that given geographical location to do the best for their peoples, as well as give the permission to utilize all the resources in a proper manner, in a proper way, that is for developing the creativity within the framework, within their frameworks. And another thing that is very important for that is don't be rigid and be flexible. It means rigidity is one of the cause of failure of the organizations. Being too much rigid does not give a good result. So that is what flexibility can bring sometime positivity in the organizational structure and working departments. So introduce flexibility in work, allow for flexible working hours if possible. Let the employee work at home occasionally if needed arise, and do not be rigid in accepting idea from your staff. Stimulate flexible attitudes in the employee who are accountable to you by asking what changes they would like to bring about if given a chance. So don't be very rigid, but be flexible and that you can change by the times as required and needed. So one more thing that is important: respect your team. Your team. Respect not only the employee rights to share and express their views and to be themselves, but their time too. This will ensure that the employee respect you in your time. Make the staff feel that they are respected and not as a employee worker but as individual too. If you do respect your team and the organizations, in the long run they will also respect you, and that will bring a great positive changes in every sort of situation. So another thing which is important: link rewards directly to performance. It means that an organization should adopt a fair reward structure which provide incentive to the most deserving employees. Having incentive structures in the place doesn't solve the problem. What makes it workable is the employee trust in the system and believe that they will be rewarded if they perform the great works during their course of time. It means that directly look at the performance of your employee and staff member. If they are doing the great, let them just be appreciated and praised, whether that is financially, non-financially, whatever that is, but they should be given a special place because of their special work. And compliments implies pass a good complimentary message and pass a great feedback to your employees, so definitely they would be motivated in the organization. So even though an employee name has not appeared in the list of people getting incentive, go ahead and compliment that employee for a job well done, no matter how small. There is nothing more satisfying to an employee than a pat on his back. So be transparent. Transparency is another major point in the motivation of the employee. If you are transparent in your work's activity in the organization, they are going to copy and follow you. The organizational staff will follow you, and they will love you, and they will get you close to them. So that's why we have to be very transparent. So while there may be some strategic decision which you might want to share with the employee at a later stage, make sure employee do not give in to the rumors, and stay in touch with your employee. Be transparent, give everything, explain everything clear to them, that tomorrow they do not be remorseful and be very much disheartened from your working activities. So work on your PDD. PDP means that PDP stand for Personal Development Plan. So every employee is responsible for his or her own career. He or she should work toward his personal development plan as discussed and agreed by his manager. Find out what are the training a company offer and which is the best suited to his development needs. How will this motivate you? Remember, training always increase your marketability and enhance your career. So training is always motivating, and it's giving you more and more guarantee and more to be more secure in future regard to your experience you are getting in a field, in your own field. So finally participate in network. Remember, you work for a company where one attention might not be possible. Do not wait for an invitation to participate in discussions. If you are a part of a company or having a share in that company, then you have the full right to express your opinions and be part of the process. So expressing yourself is a good way of motivating yourself. If you don't express yourself, it means you are not motivating yourself. So if you follow all these steps for the employees' motivation in the organizations, in the long run and as well as in a very short period of time, we will achieve our targets for having an outstanding organizations. If you do not keep all these points in our minds and we run our organizations, soon we will face with the failure of that organization. So motivation is the key of success in our organizations. Motivation is a source of satisfaction in organization if you are motivating your employees. So this is what about today's lecture. So wish you all the best. See you for the next lecture as well, and till then, Allah Hafiz. Keep me in your prayer.